began. When your imagination strikes is when you first decide to see it right. This thing called life. Step on up and reclaim it. Lighten up, pick a dream and name it. Ease your mind, leave the past behind. This time. I was practicing that song, and Angie said, "Where'd you learn this?" And I said, "I wrote it." And she said, "Well, you just don't seem to know it." And I was like, "Thanks, honey. Thanks. Can you take that?" Well, it's been a while since I sang it, but I wrote the song. I wrote the song all about the basics of the Science of Mind teaching, like stepping back into the basics. Lighten up, pick a dream, name it. What are you waiting on? Are you waiting on a perfect moment to shine? And I thought it was appropriate, since I was talking about shining today, shining and stepping into this Adventures of the Soul series. Adventures of the Soul. You know, the word adventure, I mean, it sounds great, doesn't it? Everybody loves an adventure. They love to talk about an adventure, to plan an adventure, to go on an adventure. But have you ever really stopped and looked up the definition of adventure? It is unusual, exciting, typically hazardous, and an exploration of unknown territory. So it's been described as hazardous, risky, uncertain, dangerous, and yet we crave it. So why is that? Why do we crave something that feels a little whoa, like we don't know what's going to happen next, right? Because we are beings of perpetual motion. We are continually expanding beings, and we crave change and movement. And we resist it all at the same time. We crave change and movement, and we resist it. But we evolved from hunters and gatherers, right? So we have it in our very nature to be in motion. It's part of our very nature to be in motion. And I remember reading some years ago about being active and how much that is good for your physical health. And I remember reading something about, they said, when we have consistent movement, it's a signal is sent from the brain to the body. Hey, we need more energy. We're living here. We need more energy. And the more we become sedentary in our lives, the brain sends a signal, nah, just hold up on that energy. We don't really need a whole lot, so stop making it, stop sending it. We're good. So we are, by our very nature, here to evolve and to be and to continue to expand and to be in motion. And we crave excitement. We crave living like these four-leggeds that keep running behind me. I know they're in and out of the picture. You're probably like, where's Waldo? Waiting for the dog to come back in the frame again. And they just run around carefree, don't they? A minute ago we were setting up, and we turned around, and there's this big muddy spot, and Riley is just standing. She's just standing like she's at a mud spa for the day, and she's just so chill, right? And we can look to our animals, especially our dogs, when we go out in nature, to how it's so natural to crave that freedom, right? Freedom to just be and to express. And so, Adventure of the Soul, we're going to be coming to you live from different places. And I decided I wanted to start with Stone Mountain State Park, because this is home to me. This is like my backyard. I grew up just down the road in Thurman, North Carolina. And Stone Mountain was always a place that we would come and camp and picnic and hike. lots and lots and lots and lots of picnics and hikes in these woods. And yet every time I come, I see something I haven't seen before. Every time I come, I notice something new, and I always feel, no matter what, like it's magic here. I remember being up here once, and my niece, who was probably 4 or 5 at the time, she comes up with this muddy, soppy mess of a bunch of moss that she had just scooped up, and mud's dripping down her arms, and she's like, Just look, it's where the fairies live. I'm like, yes, honey, put their house back. You're absolutely right. But that magic that we feel as a child, I feel when I'm in nature. And so I wanted to bring that to you. I know that we're having this time of our COVID experience, and it feels for a lot of people like you're housebound, and you're not seeing a lot of folks, you're not getting out. So we wanted to do something different this month. But then I started thinking about, okay, yeah, this is an adventure, I'm out in nature, but every outer adventure is a reminder that we're on an inner adventure, right? And everything that we go through, we have an opportunity to learn something new about ourselves. So let's continue this talk about this adventure and see how it relates to our inner adventure. But the word adventure, I remember always having a fluffy feeling about the word adventure until I went to Canada in 1999 with 3 of my closest friends. And my best friend at the time, Brian, he said, I thought I knew what adventure was until this trip. This trip is a true adventure because each day we're trying not to die. We're out in the wilderness of Canada, we're backpacking, we're making our own food, we're pulling our trash up in the trees at night so we don't attract bears, only to find out that after being out there for 2 weeks that Kenneth had been scraping the food scraps by the side of the tent, like, here, bear, 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 here, kitty, 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 come get us. Anyway, but Brian said, a true adventure is the one where you're constantly trying not to die. And we laughed about it, and then we said, well, maybe not that harsh. Maybe it's more like a true adventure is when we don't really know how, because we didn't have a clue. We didn't know what we were doing. We had never, some of them had never been in a canoe before the trip, so, or maybe once. So not knowing how, and also not knowing exactly how, and also working every day to be better than the day before. Because every single day on that trip to Canada, we were camping in a different spot every night. We were crossing huge lakes on canoe, and then carrying the canoes and the packs and everything to the next site. And we had to make it to the next site, otherwise we wouldn't make it all the way back out of the wilderness for the boat to pick us up 90 miles away from anything on the last day. So every day was like we had a goal, and it was very imperative that we meet that goal. But we didn't really know how, because we'd never been there before. We didn't understand wilderness. We were out there howling at the wolves that were howling in the distance. You're not supposed to do that, because that can make them come to you. We were trying to get really close to the moose and her baby, because we thought that would make a great picture. You're not really supposed to do that either. They can kill you. So we didn't know how, right? But I remember in a prosperity class years ago hearing something along these lines, that if we know how our greatest goal is to be accomplished, then it's not a big enough goal. If you know how your biggest dream, your best dream, if you know the ins and outs and the how, exactly how that's supposed to come to be, then you're not dreaming big enough. You're not shining bright enough. You're not living large enough. So we want to live a true adventure of our souls. So we have to let go, as we always talk about, of the how, not really knowing how. I heard, do an Adventures of the Soul series. I didn't really know how. I still don't. I mean, I'm trying to stay focused on you, and my dog is doing laps around my legs, but it's kind of fun. So I still don't know exactly how. Every single one is going to be an adventure, I promise you, because we don't know where we're setting up until we get there. We don't know right now if someone's going to come walking up this trail and I'm going to be like giving a talk and then talking to them. So we don't know the how. But I felt the call to do it, and we're doing it. And it feels exciting. Everybody that I've talked to has been excited to see where we're going to be coming live from. So that's an example of hearing guidance and following it, even when we don't know exactly how. Another one that I love telling the story of is the Carolina Center for Spiritual Awakening. I heard clearly, start a community. Start a community. And even though I'd been a pastor for 10 years, I didn't know how to start a spiritual community from ground zero. I didn't know how to do that. And yet, I just did the next right thing. And the next thing you know, I am surrounded by a membership of leaders and teachers and people who are taking ownership of this community immediately right out of the gate. Here we were surrounded by an accountant who is our treasurer, someone with great organizational skills and experience with nonprofits for years, who is our secretary, a successful business owner who's our vice president, and a positivity coach and a community leader as our members. We have this amazing board. That was not a coincidence, right? That was saying yes to guidance and then watching things come together, watching the infinite intelligence come to you and through you and attract to you, all of us, the right and perfect circumstances. And so when I think about our community, it's a perfect example of having this dream to shine brightly in the world, but not knowing exactly the next steps. We still don't, right? Because we still are not sure exactly when we can meet together safely again, all of us together. We will. I'm looking forward to it, but we want to make sure that we do it in the right time and do it safely with the COVID experience happening. So living our soul's adventure requires listening and following our guidance, even and especially when we don't know how. And then choosing to shine through it all. Choosing to shine through it all. And when I think about that, I think about the fact that, to shine, we need teamwork. A lot of times we need teamwork. As we've been camping up here, it's been cold, first of all, so I'll get to that in a minute. But teamwork comes to mind because the minute we started setting up camp, my friend Lee came over and she was helping us put together this canopy that we didn't know how to put together. It was brand new to us. And then we have this yurt. I'll show you a picture of the yurt later. But we have this tent that is a yurt, and it's wonderful, but it will like eat you while you try to put it together. It's so big. And so you have to have, in our dynamic, Angie's on the inside, crawling around, putting the poles together while I hold it off of her, and we put it together. But it takes teamwork. We've been laughing and joking while we've been up here at one of our other teammates who's now relaxing over in the ferns, and that's Riley, because she watches the kingdom. She goes up to the top of the campground and she looks down around the kingdom. But we're having the opportunity all the time in life to be in a working relationship with life, right? A teamwork relationship, whether it's with the earth, with the animals, with other beings, with our partner, with ourselves in the divine. We're always called into that opportunity of teamwork when we're having an adventure of the soul, which is every single day. And then we're always given something that hones our skills and makes us just a little bit better the next day. And that makes me think of the cold, because wow, it's been cold. It's been really, 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 really cold. I thought my toes were outside the tent when I woke up. It was so cold. But I think about that as one of our opportunities to just cuddle more, right? To use the sleeping bags I haven't used in so long, that I bought with my dear friend Brian the first time I backpack camped up in these woods many, many years ago. I got to pull those out, shake them out, and they're still good 20 years later. But the main thing it makes me think of is that we're always given an opportunity to shine by looking for the good. What can we be grateful for in this moment? By looking for the good. And then the biggest aha that I've had in preparation for this talk and in being up here, I caught myself, so full disclosure, a little confession time, I caught myself being really excited to get there, really excited to get to the campground or to get on the trail or even to do this talk, or really excited for those things, but not really excited to pack up the stuff, because there's a lot of stuff in my world. I'm a stuff person, so not really excited to pack the cooler, to pack the food bin, to pack the camping gear, to pack the guitar, and to pack all the things, the dog food, the dog leashes, like the dog towels, because trust me, they get in any water they see or any mud they see. So packing all the stuff was not my favorite. And then I realized, well, I'll just be honest, I was having a little fit. And Angie said, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "I just realized this is my least favorite part." And I felt like now looking back on it, I feel like a little 2-year-old stamping my feet going, "I don't like this part. I want a candy. I want a lollipop. I'm going to go over and sit on the rock." I didn't like it. I didn't like packing up. I didn't like unpacking. I didn't like getting it all together. And then, oh man, then you got to take it in reverse and you got to unpack it. Break it down and then put it back in the car and then take it back home and then wash 10 loads of laundry because everything smells like a campfire. So those were I started saying, oh, that's just not my fun. That's not my fun. That's not my fun parts. And she said, well, but if you take away all those parts and decide already that they're not going to be fun, then you've just shortchanged yourself on a whole lot of fun. Something along those lines in her cute little way. And I realized, wow, how much of my life have I done that with over the years? I know for a fact I've done it on the loading up music equipment or breaking down music equipment. I know for a fact I've done it with loading up and breaking down camping equipment. Two things that I adore, that I love so much. So that's just an example of how we can, if we're not careful and if we don't have good teamwork to keep us on point, how we can let things come in and dim our light, even amidst something that helps us shine, like being in nature for me or making music. We always have that opportunity to have the aha moment that if we're refusing to be at peace and enjoy in the process of the thing, then we're not really enjoying the thing, whatever it is. So my new affirmation is, I am in joy in the process. I am enjoying the process. The process is joyful. Any of those things, right? To take us back into realizing the process is joyful. Y'all have fun. The process is joyful. The process of life is joyful. Otherwise, we're not fully shining, even if we think we are. Even if we're doing the best advocacy work, the best healer work, the best whatever kind of work that you do to make a positive difference in the world. If we are having those pockets of in-between places where we're like, yeah, but I hate that part. Start noticing the parts of your life that you've discounted as no good, that you've discounted as a problem or an excuse not to shine brightly and not to fully live an adventurous life. Adventurous life, saying yes to the unknown, saying yes to uncertainty, because knowing that is the place of all possibility. But it takes trust, right? It takes trust and relaxing into this now moment and being in that process. So my question then is, have you refused help? That's the teamwork piece. Have you refused help somewhere in your life and made things harder? Have you decided to wait in an area of your life until it's the perfect moment to shine, like the song says? The things that make our soul shine, we have to step into those spaces. The people that make our soul shine, surround ourselves with those people. The activities, do those things. What are we waiting for? So, some people dance in the rain. Some people just get wet. I decided I wanted to close today with a song that I wrote for Angie. And I wrote it and then realized after I wrote it, as I wrote it about the same time that I was falling in love with our community as well. And I realized that I wrote it for you too, because you are examples of people that make my soul shine. And the ones that look for opportunities, the ones that dance in the rain instead of just getting wet, the ones that are here to be the example. Because when our light is brightest is when any light shines brightest when it's in the darkness, right? So we have to make sure that we're not letting the darkness dim our light, but rather we're shining brightly in it. That we're doing whatever it takes to fill our cup, to dance in the rain, to live an adventure of the soul, and to shine, shine, shine. You came along, I didn't know what hit me. I didn't know what it meant to be loved and still free. But then you shine your light into my life, and all of our pieces just fit right the way you love me. Love me, love me. You make my soul shine, baby, make my heart sing, helping me believe in the good again. You make my soul shine, my heart sing. You're helping me believe in the good again. I believe, I believe, I believe. So kind in my life, blessed everyone that comes in your sight. some more the way you love me. Love me, love me. You make my soul shine, baby, make my heart sing, helping me believe in the good again. You make my soul shine, baby, make my heart sing, helping me believe in the good again. I believe, I believe, I believe. Some people dance in the rain and just get wet. Well, you move with the biggest joy I've seen yet. The way you move, the way you love, the way you are. You make my soul shine, baby, make my heart sing, helping me believe in the good again. You make my soul shine, baby, make my heart sing, helping me believe in the good again. I believe, I believe, I believe. Soul shine. I wish for all of you that you feel love for yourself the way that my dogs look at me with love, I swear. Singing that song and the whole time Riley's just looking at me like, Mom, you're the best. You're the best, Mom. You're the best. So kids, we want you to know that we see you, we hear you, we appreciate you, and we love you just the way that you are, and we look forward to seeing you. Join me, if you would, in our conscious giving affirmation. Divine love moving through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, for the good in my life. So I just want to say thank you once again for your tithes and offerings to this community. They mean so much, and we're so grateful. And we know for each and every one of you giving a financial gift that it returns to you multiplied abundantly. It is the law of reciprocity. I believe it. I live it. I know it. You can't outgive God. So as you're giving this morning, think about what you're grateful for. Name it, claim it, praise it as you raise it. Here we go. So grateful in this moment right now. Yes, I'm thankful, so grateful right here, right now. I am thankful, so grateful in this moment. Grateful right here, right now. Beloved God, I speak this word of gratitude. I'm so grateful in this moment, right here, right now. As I hear the water rushing behind me and I feel the breeze through the trees, and move into my heart space and my mind's eye and see each and every person in this beautiful, beloved community, I speak this word of gratitude. Recognizing that I am one with this one power and presence that connected us all in the first place. I give thanks for all the good in my life. And I speak this word of blessing, knowing that each and every person giving their gifts this morning, that in doing so they open themselves to receive. And I know that a blessing is poured out, overflowing in such magnitude that it cannot even be contained. And I say, yes, yes, yes. I accept it for myself. I accept it for each and every member and friend of this community. I I accept it for the Carolina Center for Spiritual Awakening, that we are prospered and blessed and continue to do this work of shining with the light of love. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I am grateful. Yes, so grateful. Right here and now. So join us in our closing song. We let the love wash over us. We just let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let love wash over us. We let it be. We love you, we bless you, we thank you, and we look forward to coming to you live next Sunday from Tybee Island, Georgia. Stay tuned.